started, and then as any additional students try to join us, I will let them in from the waiting room. So for starters today, we wanted to say thank you for joining us. We are very fortunate to have with us 4 panelists for our Career Pathways session on sales, marketing, and management careers. They come from a variety of different organizations, very different industries and backgrounds, and they're here today to discuss a little bit of information about what their organizations look for when they're looking for entry-level talent, in addition to talking about how they got to where they are within their respective organizations and their careers. So we want this to be an interactive session. Ashley and I will kind of kick it off and facilitate some questions back and forth with our panelists during the first half of the session. But if you all have questions, we will be monitoring the chat as we go. So please feel free to type questions in the chat for our guests. If you would like to ask a question verbally, once we get through the first couple of questions, please feel free to do that as well. So we want you to have the opportunity to network and engage with our employers who are here today participating. So please feel free to do that. All right, so for starters, we are going to do some quick panelist introductions to kick things off. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Aline to start today and do a brief introduction.
Thanks so much for that welcome there, Kellen. My name is Aline Connor, and I am so excited to be joining you all today. I am a talent acquisition specialist here with Enterprise Holdings. Enterprise Holdings is the parent company for Enterprise Rent-A-Car, National, and Alamo. So a little bit about myself. I actually attended West Virginia Wesleyan College and obtained a bachelor's degree in business administration with a minor in music. So I actually came on to Enterprise as an intern between my junior and senior year of college. I won the internship that summer. I earned a full-time opportunity, assuming I got my degree. So that's all she wrote for me. I finished my degree, came right on board with Enterprise. I've worked in daily rental, I've worked in truck rental, and now I'm in HR. So I've been with the company for a total of 6 years. And as I keep climbing in my career, I continue to look forward to keeping my career within the talent acquisition and HR departments. So that's just a little bit about me. It's very unique in that I get to speak to students who are looking for those internship opportunities, having been an intern in my own company myself. So I'm very excited to share about what those opportunities could be for you guys.
Great, thank you. Sheree, do you want to go next?
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Chari Rogers. I am the area recruitment specialist here for Sherwin-Williams. Sherwin-Williams may be the biggest company you never heard about. Some of you may know. So we sell paint and coatings. A lot of people think we're this painter, like we do the painting. No, we do business to business sales. We're selling to, hospitals, restaurants, government, professional painters. And then about 10% of the time, we're dealing with homeowners. So we have a few different positions as far as like a management and sales training program, and then also a management and sales internship. Unlike most people in the company, I did not go through that route. I was in HR at another company and transitioned over here, but I do recruit for the role. I've been working for Sherwin for about 2 years now. And I recruit for the role in Delaware, West Virginia, DC, Maryland, and Virginia as well. So I pretty much am all over the place. So you'll probably see me in different locations. But super excited to be here today to tell you more about the opportunities, and then also share with you, what people are looking for and how this can impact you and, in making a future career decision. So thank you guys for inviting me, and I'm looking forward to today's discussion.
Great, thank you. Lisa?
Let me take myself off mute. Hi, I'm Lisa Huckestein. I have a little bit of a different background. I'm not in talent acquisition. I am a senior marketing strategist for Highmark Health, which includes Highmark Insurance, Allegheny Health Network, and a few other smaller things that fall under that. And I am a WVU grad, so proud of that and really thankful to join today. I have always been in marketing. I graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration with emphasis in marketing, and I have a minor in management. And I've always been marketing within the healthcare field somehow, and just through networking with other people, that kind of parlayed into other jobs throughout my career and to where I landed today. So looking forward to talking with you and answering any questions.
Great, thank you. Caitlin?
Hi, everybody. I'm Caitlin Keller. I work for CVS Health. I'm sure everyone in this room has been to a CVS pharmacy store. And I think a lot of you probably don't know the opportunities that we have at CVS. Most people think, oh, it's just a pharmacy. But my role here at the company as a retail university relations manager is to recruit management talent. So we have an internship as well as a full-time role that we recruit for. So it's an exciting time because CVS is growing and our stores are still open and running as usual. So we haven't really slowed down. My background, I have a degree in corporate communications with a minor in Spanish, and Alan can relate. I worked in truck rental as my first job with Penske Truck Leasing, and then went into educational technology. And now I'm here at CVS Health for about a year working with students. And that's really where I have a passion of helping students get leadership positions. So really excited to talk with everyone today. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. All right, so to get started, we're going to kick off the questions, and then please feel free to chime in as you'd like in terms of the panelists, weigh in to each question. If you feel like what you might have to contribute is kind of redundant with what someone else said, feel free to say that you kind of echo their point, and we can shift to the next question. So what types of degrees, skills, and experiences do your organizations look for when they're evaluating potential candidates for opportunities?
So do you want us to just jump in, Kellen, or do you want to call on us?
Sure, yeah, if you want to go ahead and kick it off, yeah, go right ahead.
Oh, the silence was killing me. So, so at Highmark Health, when we do recruiting for our marketing team, we always look for somebody that does at least have a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. Anybody that does have any intern experience, it's always very helpful, but we also look for people that are willing to take the time to just even job shadow. So we have a lot of people that we do come in for interviews that we love when they just take the time to reach out to their network, whether it's family and friends, and taking some time to take the day and job shadow somebody in marketing. So that's important to us. And pretty much we're looking for people that are well-rounded. And like I said, job shadowing is a biggie with our company as well as interns. So definitely those are things that if it's possible to do in your time before you graduate, that would be helpful.
And I'll hop in a little bit about Sherwin-Williams. So we're a unique company because we don't care what your major is, honestly. I think the fun thing about that is just last year, I hired someone whose major was leisure studies, and I don't even know what that is. But now he's managing a $1.3 million store. So he's killing it out there. But, really what we're looking for because we are customer facing Sherwin-Williams, really looking for people, that have that customer service experience, whether it's nothing too big or small. A lot of people really think like, I was just a waitress. I don't know how that relates, but honestly, you're in sales. That's sales. You're selling specials. You're doing different things there. So really just looking for people with that like customer service background. Usually people in the management major, in business gravitate to us, but we are very exclusive on your major because we just represent that different ideas. We're really big on collaboration and innovation. So, from different majors, you learn different skills. And I think what's cool about Sherwin is anyone can be successful. Like, for example, success doesn't look like one thing. So we have people that are a little bit more relational focused. Some majors are like that, like what does communications and things look like, right? And then some people are more analytical, like I'm a math, engineering, I know how to do analytical things. But it's interesting because at Sherwin, both can be successful. Like I know me, I'm a talker. I'm not really about the numbers. I'll get back to you if you ask me your year-over-year savings. But I can, build the relationship, and then I can hand it over and say, hey, now, Sarah's gonna, share a little bit about how you're gonna do that. And then we win that sale. So I know I'm talking a lot, but definitely a lot of that customer service experience and leadership is what we look for generally.
Sharon, it's really interesting that you say all that because enterprise is a little similar in that fashion. We actually don't look for any specific majors either. I always make the joke in my interviews, you could have a degree in underwater basket weaving or rocket science. It doesn't matter. Enterprise wants you. And really, this is because in our management trainee program, we literally teach you everything that you need to know to run our operation. So when you come in, no matter what your background is, basically, if you have the ability to learn and absorb and be persistent in your pursuit of your career with us, you're eventually going to be successful. So one of the stories I like to tell is my group truck manager actually has a chemistry background. He has a chemistry degree. And he started out in the oil fields for 5 years before he came to Enterprise. So he has a really unique background, and it was always really interesting to talk with him about how he came up through Enterprise. Some other things we typically look for in our management trainees or management trainee interns, we actually don't look for previous experience. Experience is not required to join our management trainee program, but we do look for students who were involved on campus. Maybe they were in athletics, or maybe it was Greek life, or student government, whatever that looks like for them personally. So we really just look for somebody to be able to come in, talk about their experiences, and really have the desire to learn and grow a career.
I don't know if I have too much more to add, because I think similarly, at least for our roles, like Enterprise does, in our full-time program, full-time position, we're going to train you in a way that we want you to run the CVS business as well. But I'll just say that customer service is huge at CVS, and we are all about our customers. So, any type of experience you've had in customer service, you can relate that to working in our stores. So I'll just add that.
Wonderful. Thank you guys. That was wonderful answers from everybody on the panel. What do you guys think are some of the challenge, or what do you see as some of the day-to-day challenges that entry-level professionals might face?
I can start out for this one. So I think coming into a management role, if you've never managed a team before, at CVS, you have people that have worked in the stores for 1 year all the way to 30 years, and you might now be their new manager. So really working on those management skills, being a leader, holding people accountable, or delegating tasks can be definitely a challenge that you have to kind of face and, try things on and learn as you go. But thankfully, you're paired with a mentor. Or if you're in our internship, again, you're paired with a mentor, and you get to practice those things and kind of make those mistakes before you would be a store manager yourself or get into that full-time role. So we try our best to help you kind of work through those awkward situations and kind of grow before you have your own team of yourselves.
Yeah, and I just want to piggyback off that too. I definitely agree there. I know specifically with Sherwin-Williams, when most people hear about paint, they're like, I don't know anything about paint. And honestly, most people don't, unless your parents are like a contractor or something like that. So really, I would say, really taking the initiative to learn, because how we kind of brand ourselves is as the experts of paint, right? We are servicing contractors that, they know this is their paint business. So it's like that, taking initiative to kind of learn the product, and things like that. So you're able to, share that information with customers. But I think that what kind of really combats that, obviously we have resource in the company where you learn the products over time, and we're very collaborative, like I said. So you might get somebody come in and say like, what paint should I put on my deck? And you're like, I never painted anything in my life. So, you can rely on your teammates. Similar to CVS, we have people that worked here for a year. We have people that worked there for, more, and they're able to really assist you in that aspect. So really that advice is, a lot of the jobs you may look at and you're like, I don't know really much about what you're actually selling or what you're managing, but definitely that perseverance and taking initiative to learn definitely will help you once you enter into that career. So don't be intimidated if you don't know everything, especially in Sherwin. The first day you'll be like, I can't help anybody. But then you kindly come back and you realize, I know a little bit more than I knew yesterday. So that perseverance is important.
And I have to agree with you. The same with our marketing team at Highmark Health. I think it's overwhelming for a lot of our new marketing associates that join, is just overwhelmed by the new processes, the new procedures. We all had to learn them. Everybody was new when they came in, but I think it's daunting and overwhelming for that first few weeks just to learn what that is. And like you said, taking that initiative to always learn and ask for help, I think that is one of the things that a lot of our marketing associates, they feel bad about asking for help or asking for guidance because everybody wants to feel like they know. They should come in knowing everything, but you don't. So don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to reach out. And like I said, always being willing to learn, and just don't get overwhelmed in the beginning because it was new for everybody as well. So.
Kellen, I literally have nothing to add here. Everybody really hit the nail on the head. Listen, it's intimidating when you graduate and you think, oh my gosh, what am I going to do next? And so you go into this next role, and you think, oh, I've graduated. I have all the knowledge. I should jump in and know exactly what I'm doing immediately. No. Which is why so many of these companies that are talking to you today have these management trainee programs or something similar to teach you everything you need to know as far as the systems and how we do business and that sort of thing. So yeah, the biggest day-to-day challenge I typically see here at Enterprise is generally people are like, oh my gosh, this is a lot of information. How am I going to take this all in? Just take a deep breath. It's going to be fine. You're going to get there.
Awesome. Thank you. Within your respective organizations, what would be some of the typical career trajectories for early talent roles? And I know with some of your companies, that might be a little bit of a broader question to be able to address, but if you could kind of hit on maybe a couple of entry-level opportunities that you often hire off college campuses for, or that you're familiar with within your organizations, and then how those positions can develop when you're looking at it from a long-term perspective.
Lisa, did you want to go? I saw you unmuted.
Nope, go ahead.
Okay. So I already mentioned the two roles that I specifically recruit for. So for rising seniors, we do have that retail management internship, which is a summer internship, which kind of gives you the opportunity to try on a store manager position, really see what they do. And then that entry level position right out of graduation is a store manager in training. So that is in one of our retail stores. You're working alongside a store manager, learning that role. Some roles that I don't recruit for, but we get a lot of questions when we're on campuses, is for the corporate side of CVS. So we have our retail locations, almost 10,000 locations, and then we have our corporate opportunity, which really supports those retail stores. And we have a corporate university relations team, which recruits for developmental programs in HR, in finance, in logistics, potentially, general management, so kind of across the board. So that's generally, when I'm talking to students, they either really want to work in that retail space or they want to go more of that corporate route. So those are just a couple entry-level positions that we typically have open.
And for Highmark Health, there are just a million different pathways that you can take. Just as an example, just on our marketing team, we have almost 200 different people, and they all have a different, a path that you could take. You can go down the path, and we have marketing associates at every one of these levels, and you kind of work through the levels of the corporate chain through there. But you have marketing strategy, which is my specialty. You can go into research and analytics. There's PR and communications. We have events and promotion team out there. We have a team specifically that deals with branding, making sure we're staying on brand. We have people that do media buying. We have people in the digital space, social media space. Trying to think, project management is a good that a lot of our newer hires come into. So there are just a million different lanes to pick, even within the marketing department. And we hire for entry level for all of those. So just, it kind of depends on what your passion is. And even if it's not a passion, if it's just something you want to get into, like I said, research and analytics is definitely not something, like number crunching is not something that I'm interested in, but we have a whole team that does that and they absolutely love it. So it kind of depends on what your passion is, But again, so many opportunities and so many different levels, even within the marketing department at Highmark, not including all of the other jobs, opportunities available through the Highmark, the insurance side, as well as the Allegheny Health Network side too. So many to choose from.
I know, it's like I seen that you were on video and I was like, go ahead. I didn't want to, because I'm Chatty Cathy, as I said previously. But you know, Sherwin-Williams, we're a large organization, so we have all types of roles. So usually this management and sales training program and internship leads to most people decide to be a store manager, become a district manager, move that way. Some people say, look, sales is my thing. They become a sales rep, sales manager, move up that way. But this program really lays the foundation to Sherwin. So we did some research, about 96% of our hires are internal for our new roles. So a lot of people have started in this program, transition to finance, corporate roles, many different things, marketing, different types of things. But we're such a matrix company, so it's even the same roles in different like business units. So obviously I support the store side of things. Then we have a consumer brands, because we own brands of brushes, certain like Valspar, certain, you know, type of products. So you can like do management and sales with that group, and then you'll mostly, you know, partner with like Lowe's and make sure that our product is, you know, branded correctly. Then we have like a performance coding group that we actually, our products are used on a lot of different things, as far as like the White House, the Hollywood sign, Southwest Airlines. So you can work with, you know, that clientele to make sure that, you know, our products are right on there. So it's essentially every job, we have it probably 3 times in different business units. So definitely a lot of opportunity in Sherwin once you understand the industry.
Sorry, I couldn't get myself off mute for just a minute. Okay, so we've talked a lot about different great opportunities here. Enterprise is a little unique in that when we are hiring for external positions for full-time roles, there's really only 2 that we're looking for: management trainees and management trainee interns. And that is because we only promote from within. So everybody all the way up to our CEO, Chrissy Taylor, we all started as a management trainee. So that's really important to us, because as you grow with the company, we want to make sure that you know how to run our business all the way down to how we actually wash and prepare our vehicles to be rented. So early on, when you come in to complete our management trainee program, usually takes anywhere between 6 months to a year. It is performance-based. So you can really do it as quick or as slow as you'd like, right? So once you complete that program, you then have the ability to apply an interview for the next position that you're looking for. Now that's when it gets creative. You can stay in daily rental and you can become an assistant branch manager on up the corporate ladder within daily rental. You can move to truck rental, become a senior account specialist. There's a whole similar career path with them. You can go into car sales, again, career path within to assistant branch manager, area manager on up. And then, you know, those are actually the field positions we have here in West Virginia. Depending on where you're located in the US, you could find yourself in field positions like exotic car rental, where you have like Lamborghinis and Ferraris. Those are really cool. There's fleet management. Really, there is just a lot of different opportunities within the field. If that's not something you're interested in, you'd like to be more in an administrative corporate type role, again, there's an entire world out there with Enterprise for that. There's the HR department, risk management, business management. There's a fleet management side, which is different than fleet leasing, right? I always tell people, you have no idea how many jobs it actually takes to put one rental on the road. So when you come into Enterprise and you complete that management training program and you start pursuing other opportunities, really kind of the world is your oyster, and you have the decision autonomy to decide where you want your career to go.
Fabulous. So I would love for panelists to reflect on their career, whether that's present or, you know, in the past, and think, what is the best career advice that you've ever received? I know that is a tough question, but I would love to hear what you guys have gotten from advice for your careers.
be very quick with mine because I always tell everyone it all the time. A lot of, I worked in HR. I had a HR internship when I first was in college. And while I'm pretty, a talker now, I used to be so nervous because I would sit in rooms with executives and I would be like, my name is, I would be stuttering, sound like I'm about to cry because I really didn't know if I knew all the information. Usually when you apply to a job, you don't know how to do everything on the job description. So I'm like, oh, they're going to find out. I don't know how to do everything on here, right? But I had like a mentor when I worked at that company. It just told me that like, you are the expert in your area. And because of your diverse experience, you know stuff that other people may not know. So I was an intern for university relations. When I had the internship, I was in college. So who knows more about college kids than me? I'm the kid. I'm who you're selling to. And that's in most of the aspects as well. So like, I'm pretty sure with like CVS, you go to CVS, you know what you like and seeing in your CVS, representative when you're checking out. So that can apply to what you're doing now. So I think, you realize that you have more knowledge than you know that you have, and use those unique experiences because you're a consumer, you buy things every day. So use that experience and to help you fuel your career.
I have a couple that are kind of silly. One of them is, which still sticks today, if you don't ask, the answer is always going to be no. And be nice, because you would be surprised how far you get by just being nice to people in your conversations. Have a willingness. Someone told me always be willing to volunteer and step up and help to take on projects to help other people. That has really helped me get far. And this is one that still to this day I carry with me. It's how do you eat an elephant? One spoonful at a time. When you get so overwhelmed, and it's going to happen to everybody, you are so overwhelmed. I have sticky notes all over my desk and I have everything due at the same time. You don't even know where to begin. You're kind of like frozen. And it's just, all you could do is take one step and just start chipping away at it. And then once you start getting going, you'll get that momentum, but it's always one spoonful at a time. That's how you get through it. So no matter what happens, no matter how overwhelmed I get in my career or day for 20 years, I always revert to, well, this is what I can do today. And this is what I can get done right now. And then I go on to the next step and it helps. So I know silly, but helpful.
Caitlin, I was waiting on you there. So the best career advice I've ever gotten was probably back when I very first started with Enterprise, and I completed my management trainee program and I went for my first interview to be an assistant manager, and I didn't get the job. I was absolutely crushed because I was that kid that was like involved in everything, had great grades, just like, one of your typical overachiever type college students. And when I didn't get that first assistant manager job that I applied for, I was absolutely crushed. And my area manager, he told me, he said, in life, you're not going to get everything the first time. And you've been really lucky up to this point in your life to have been able to get through things so easily and so quickly, but it doesn't always happen that way. And so what he told me was, persevere, pick yourself up, take the feedback, truly reflect on what it was that kept you out of this position or what got you beat out of this position, and come back stronger, work on yourself and interview again. So that's exactly what I did. And I wish I could tell you the second time I got the job, I didn't, I got beat again. That same area manager, I was still in the same store. He said, hey, you can do it. Just persevere, reflect, regroup, and let's do it again. And that third spot, I finally got it. Third time was a charm, right? But that's something I've really carried with me throughout my entire career here with Enterprise. Having been here for 6 years, I've applied for a lot of different promotional opportunities, and I didn't get every single one of them. And although it certainly is crushing, especially in the beginning, as I was learning how to handle that type of rejection, it really has served me well. And that's genuinely what keeps me going and kind of keeps me focused on my 20 to 30 year career.
All really good advice. I think back to my first job out of college when I was working at Penske truck leasing, and I didn't really see myself ever working at a company like that. And I know everything about trucks, which I'm sure you can relate to for enterprise. But I remember my district manager said, this isn't the sexiest, flashiest job, but you're going to learn a lot of really good skills, and you're going to be able to grow, your management skills, your sales skills, your people skills, and that's going to help you grow your career. And I always think about that, because I think with every position you take, you have to figure out, what can I learn from this to help me get to that final career, that I want. And I still don't know, I guess, what I want to do when I grow up, but every position that I have, I try to learn something. And then the other piece of advice is, like, always be looking at who can do your job, like, if you grow. So, like, always develop somebody and share with them the skills that you have, because that's going to not only help you in how you are a leader, but it's also going to help someone else get to where they want to go to. So kind of like just give back to, the people that you work with.
Thank you all. Yeah, that was some awesome advice for our student attendees today. So that was really great. So shifting a little bit back to the hiring process, what tips do you have for students who would like to stand out and differentiate themselves in the application or even the interview stage of the hiring process?
One thing that I always love to see, I think there's so many jobs that you can apply to, lots of internships, lots of companies. The people that always impress me, it's simple, but they have done research on CVS. They really read the job description. They've really connected the dots between what we're looking for and what they've had in their background. So it seems kind of like a no-brainer, but you wouldn't believe how many people come to an interview and I ask, why you're interested in this job, and they're not able to answer that. So, that's kind of an easy way for me to kind of think, like, I don't know if this person's going to be a good fit, like they're not taking it seriously. So that would be my one piece of advice. Just really take the time before you have that interview to prep yourself on the company and the role.
Caitlin, I 100% agree with you. We love when people come in, and you don't have to do a ton of research. Like, we don't care if you do a ton of research, but at least look at the landing page of our website. And a lot of times you'll find that the mission is on there, the goals are on there. And if there's any way that you could tie anything in on how you could help us achieve those goals, that is helpful. We hired somebody right away because our actual mission on our website is to create a remarkable healthcare experience, freeing people to be their best. That is our mantra on everything we do for Highmark Health. And when somebody came in for an interview, they had noticed that creating remarkable experiences, and they actually equated some remarkable experiences that they did in their last job. They worked in an ice cream shop somewhere, I don't know where, but for the fact that they were able to actually equate working and creating a remarkable experience for those customers, that actually showed that they took the time to investigate a little bit, and that really put them at the top. So again, couldn't agree more. I don't think you have to do a ton of research, but at least look at it. And again, should be a no-brainer, but you would be surprised how many people have no idea what's in the job description or what the company is even about. So take a few minutes to do that. I think that will only be helpful.
I have to agree 110% here, girls. You really hit the nail on the head. Caitlin, you're right. I can't tell you how many people I've interviewed that tell me, oh, Enterprise rents cars. I just told you guys, we do so much more than that. And if somebody can have an intelligent conversation with me about our company, I already feel better about the interview before we even get started. And then piggybacking with that, at the end of the interview, have a question. Have a couple of questions beyond what are you looking for? Because if you're paying attention in the interview, you're going to know exactly what every company is looking for in their ideal candidate. So when you get to the end, have a question or two that maybe is company related. Maybe you want to know about more career paths, something of that nature, but something that shows that you are engaged and interested in not only maybe just this particular opportunity, but where it can lead you down the road.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everyone said. Definitely that research is key. I know a lot of people I'm interviewing, they're saying like, I want to work for you guys. I love interior design. They're like, that's not, it's nowhere of anything that you'll be doing. But I think those questions are important, key too. But I just wanted to put one note as a recruiter. I think sometimes people get a little too crazy with the questions and they try to play the game of stump the recruiter. So they're saying, what do you think about Sherwin-Williams financial marketing in 50 years from now? I don't know, but I'm going to have a job. That's as much as I know. Okay. So just know, like, you know, what questions to ask and who you're speaking to. But I like to say, you know, always in an interview, I think what is a good standard practice is like prepare like 5 great stories where you shine, you were the superstar, and be able to, you know, speak to those ones. Cause some, you know, just like, you know, with many of us when we did our college entrance, you know, papers and stuff like that, you don't have to write 20 million papers. You got to write one good one, and then you can kind of, you know, focus it to other things. So I have 5 great stories that can answer multiple questions. So I can say, you know, tell me about leadership experience. Then you say, boom, you can tell me that. And I can say, tell me about a time where you worked on a team. And you can use that same example in a different way. And I just wanted to let you guys know too, like in an interview, it's not about who answers the fastest, because some people, you hear the question, they're just like, okay, blah, 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 and then they just miss the mark. So you really need to listen to the question and then answer it once you have fully understand. And it's okay to take a little time or to say that you need time, right? You can, because we try to make it more conversational, like we're having a conversation. So, you know, be like, oh, I just need a second to think about that. And then you can say the answer. So I'd rather that than a fast, wrong answer. So that's my tidbits.
I am loving all of these tips and advice. These are spot on, guys. So make sure you and all the students take notes on this. This is fabulous. I really want to know what has helped you get to where you are in your career, and what advice would you have for other students who want to pursue career paths in similar directions that you guys have went?
I'll go first. So what has actually helped me throughout my career is, believe it or not, all of the connections that I've made and the networking that I've done over the years. So my very first job, not first job interview, but my very first job that I got out of college, really, I think the only reason that I did get it is because the interviewing person was a physician. I was interviewing as a marketing person for a group of doctors in Pittsburgh that did the surgery so you don't have to wear glasses anymore. It's now called LASIK, but it wasn't called that back then. But in my interview, it was in a conversation, got to talking, and both realized that we both lived at 19 Jones Avenue when we went to college. He just went 20 years earlier than I did. But just from that conversation, he pretty much said, hey, I know you have no experience, but I'm going to give you a chance. And that's kind of how I got my first job, believe it or not. And from that job, had gone out and, you know, went to a lot of national eye meetings and networked and made some connections. That my next job, I actually traveled all over the country working with the laser company that did, you know, that did surgery so you didn't have to wear glasses anymore. And from those connections, I met physicians that were looking for somebody to work on their panel as a marketing person for the FDA process. And I traveled over to Europe in that particular space doing some medical device marketing. And then from that came back and met a physician that ended up, you know, it's just stepping stones from there. So I would always say, you know, always be nice, always make connections, keep in touch with those connections, because that's actually how and my path might be different than everybody else's, but that's how my career path ended up. It was from all the people that I met throughout the years that actually I reconnected with, or they reached out to me if they had a job opening. So again, always be willing to keep those, you know, those connections up, because you never know 5 years from now when it might be helpful.
That's a really cool career path, Lisa. Getting to go to Europe and do all that. That's really awesome. What's the biggest thing that's helped me get to where I am, and what would I tell you guys? The biggest thing that's helped me get to where I am is that I've been willing to do the jobs that nobody else was really willing to do. You know, if a car needed washed, I was the first one to raise my hand and do it. When Enterprise Truck Rental came into West Virginia, I actually got to be on the ground floor and helping open that business line here in West Virginia. It was brand new to us. There weren't a lot of people who said, hey, let me join truck rental. Nobody knew if it was going to be successful. So it was kind of a do or die situation. So getting to raise my hand and getting to jump on board at the ground level with a new business line here in West Virginia really helped develop my leadership skills and ultimately landed me in the position that I have now. So being able to say, hey, I don't know a lot about this and nobody else wants to do it, but I'll do it, really has propelled my career in the direction that I wanted it to go. And I would tell you guys that too. If you look around and somebody says, oh, I don't want to do that, be the one to do it, because you're going to stand out, and that's going to it's going to help your boss take notice of you and hopefully, again, propel your career where you want it to go.
Yeah, I would definitely echo that. I think that is a definitely important part to have, definitely, because, even when I had internships and stuff like that, if my job is to staple papers, it would be the best paper you ever had stapled, so I would do whatever is necessary in that way. But I think, some good advice about getting is definitely just having that perseverance as well. And I can relate to Lisa as well. So in the HR community in Philadelphia where I live, is very small. So everywhere I go to if I go to a new company, usually an old manager from that company now works here. And then, it's all, so make sure you keep, some good connections there. But I would just definitely say, persevere, but also know your stuff. Sometimes it does take personal investments of your time to kind of learn something new, to be able to provide value to the company. You always want to be providing value. And sometimes, you have to research, you have to come to networking events like this and learn like cool things from, other people in your field. So definitely just take the time to do that. And I know, like, similar to what we talked about earlier, yes, in your career, you're going to hear no, but I don't think I take no's. I take not yet. Most of the time when you're trying to seek a thing, it's a not yet, really. So they're saying no, but it's stuff that you have to do to get there. So ask those questions about, I want to get to the next level. What do I need to do? And then when it comes to review time or whatever, you can be like, look, you said if I do this, this, and this, and my goals is this, then I can go to the next thing. So it's time, So just make sure you have to do the work. I interview a lot of students and I ask them, what are your career goals? They're saying, what's your career goals in the next 3 years? They're saying, I'm going to be the CEO. It takes some time to get there. The CEO took time to get there, right? Look, if that was the case, I'll be the CEO by now too. So you want to make sure that you're doing everything in proper timing, but you actually have to do the work to get to where you want to get, and make sure you're taking that time to invest in yourself as well to add value to the company.
And I'll just add, I think when I think back to how I've grown in my career, I've taken steps back. So like I was at Penske, I had managed a team, and then I decided I wanted to kind of go a different route. And I became an individual contributor again. So I was then on a team, I wasn't managing one, but I grew to lead a team there. And it just so happened at that company, they downsized and my position was eliminated. So I had to start over again. And then that's kind of how I found this position at CVS. But what I learned from kind of taking a step back and then kind of starting at that ground level, you learn the position, you learn the company, and you then, as you grow to a leader, you can develop those people to do the job that, you also did, which creates a lot of trust with your team. So I think when you're thinking of growing your career, you can grow laterally, you can grow up, you can also grow by taking a step down and really learning the nuts and bolts of a business.
Wonderful, guys. Thank you. And I think we have our last question here before we're going to flip it over to the students. So if you guys could suggest 1 or 2 things that students can do now to ensure that they're prepared for the workforce, what would they be?
I would say don't be afraid to get involved in things. I think we talked about it in the beginning, like when we see that students took on a role or worked while in school, I mean, it demonstrates that you can manage your time, which is really important when you get into the work world. So Nothing is like too small if you're going to throw an event or you're going to lead a team in a classroom. Like those are things that are impressive to recruiters. So just make sure you're, taking the time to obviously learn while you're in school, have fun, but also, branch out and kind of try things on, and then it'll kind of help you know maybe what you want to do, but it'll also show the diverse background that you've had.
And jumping on that, you were just talking about, I just want to jump on that just to say job shadowing. I think just trying on a bunch of different hats or taking a bunch of different courses to determine really what you do like and what your passion is. There's so many avenues to take. And the more experience that you can get in the next 2 years on figuring it out, kind of like what your passion is and what you do want to do, whether you're job shadowing for somebody in sales or somebody in marketing or somebody in management, I think that will help narrow down once you get to that point that you are starting to apply what you really want to do and what you really like to do. So as many opportunities as you can to do that, I think would be helpful.
I would say just really take time to develop yourself as far as, making sure you have a great resume, cover letter, and everything. I'm sure career services can help you with that as well. But also definitely learn your personal brand. I think that's really important whatever job you're going to go into, so you can speak to what do you bring to a company, and what is important to you, and that really will break down the roles that you apply for, if the companies align with what your values are. So definitely just take that time to explore that and see what do you like and what do you don't like. Because like even in jobs, obviously when you're doing the job, you kind of find that out as well. But this will kind of help you align to positions that will be right for you.
I don't have a whole lot to add here. These women have really hit the nail on the head again, get involved. One thing I will caution you of, don't feel like you have to do a million different things. Don't feel like you have to be a part of student government and president of the debate team and a student athlete and, all these things. Find one or two things that you really enjoy, put some work into it. So when you come into the interview, you can have a conversation about the things that you accomplished or the teams that you were on and what they accomplished in that interview. Because the last thing I want to see is a whole list of extracurricular activities that you were a part of, really in name only, and then you can't talk about it. That to me just says that you're looking to put a list on your resume and you really don't understand what it means to put in the work for going into the workforce. So just find a couple of things, or maybe even just one that you are really happy with, put in the work, and then be able to speak to it when you get to the interview process.
Wonderful. We have a Mackenzie in the chat has just dropped. Did any of you have a fear or panic about not finding a job right out of college? Great question, Mackenzie.
I'll answer. I did. I was freaking out. So I actually had an internship that turned into a full-time position while I was in school, but they hired me on like as a contractor. So it didn't come with benefits or anything like that. So like I needed to have a job with benefits, because you need to go to the doctor. I wear glasses and glasses are expensive. So, that was really important to me. So I really was taking the time to like really increase my network and kind of find out what kind of roles I wanted to do. And then also to do stuff outside of maybe what I thought I would be doing, and even out of my regional thing. So I went to school and I graduated from Villanova University in PA. So during that time, all my family lived in Pennsylvania and everything like that. So my first job out of college was with Amazon, being an HR journalist in San Antonio, Texas. When they told me I was going to San Antonio, Texas, I was like, I don't know anyone in Texas. I don't know anything about Texas. I was thinking dirt road and cowboys or something. So I think it's okay to like step out of your comfort zone. If you're willing to, try new experiences and go somewhere else, make sure, you're looking at those opportunities as well. It's really hard, especially during this pandemic and things like that, with certain, roles and certain companies, what that looks like is changing. But you have to definitely persevere. And I really believe the right opportunity will find you.
Great, thank you. We have another student question from Brent. What are the best strategies to stand out when applying for an internship to receive an interview?
Oh, can I take this one? Please, please, please fill out the entire application. I can't tell you how many incomplete applications I have that just automatically eliminate people from the position before they even get a chance to get interviewed. So get to the interview by filling out that entire application. Even if it says, what's your work experience, and you're going to be attaching a resume, we're asking for, a couple of places that are really important to you or maybe applicable to what we're looking for. Or maybe if it was the student organizations, don't just put in see resume, fill it all in so we have the complete application. So when we're comparing you to all the other candidates, we have all the information right there. Sorry, that's a little pet peeve of mine.
No, that's great. And also read the job description too, guys. Sophia has a question as well. What are some things that you think people focus on too much that don't really help them obtain the job?
I feel like some of them just within our company, you feel like you have to have all the answers for everything, and that's not necessarily the case. I think they just from experience, and whenever we do interviewing, I think most people they're throwing so many things at you, and they don't need all that. If you could just focus on one or two things that you are really strong at, I think that's what's most important. You don't need to be fabulous at every single point, but if you can be fabulous, really fabulous in some points that are beneficial to us and can show that, I think that's what's helpful.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, especially in my industry, most people, like I said, they don't know about paint. So some people come to the interview like, all my life I wanted to do paint and I love, like if it's not realistic to you, you don't have to tell me stories about like you were in kindergarten and you wanted to be a paint salesman because, that's rare. So I think, that aspect, be authentic in your interview, be, true to yourself.
And then Brianna has a question as well. What advice do you have to get a job offer when doing an internship? So how do you convert from internship to full-time?
I liked this question. I think when we're looking at our interns and the interns that we see convert to a full-time role, it's someone that isn't afraid to try something on. So we might ask you to do something crazy to unload a truck and put some heavy boxes, on the shelves. And you're willing to do it. So, no task is too big or you're not too great for a task. And I think, although we didn't have this internship back when a lot of our store managers were in college, if we would have, it's kind of like what a lot of the other women said, you're learning the job from the bottom up. So even if you get to a store manager or you grow to a district leader that's overseeing multiple stores, like you're never too big to clean the bathroom or pick up, trash. So I think just showing that you have a willingness to learn and a willingness to grow, and that you're asking questions, those three things really, I think, can help you to get that full-time job after you've been in the internship with us or with another company.
And I think that's a good question to ask too during the interview process. So what does it usually look like? What happens usually after the internship program? Like similar to this company, we're always willing to convert our interns. Like we have part-time roles. You can work part-time in our store. You can never leave our store. Once you start your internship, you can work part-time for us and then transition to our full-time program. So I think just asking about those opportunities as well. And throughout your internship, making it known that you want to seek, employment with the company later on, because closed mouths don't get fed. So you want to make sure that you're communicating what your interests and goals are.
And then we do have a question from one of our students. If you guys feel comfortable for the panelists, one of them has requested if you would be comfortable dropping those emails in there to network, or what would be the best way to reach out to you, whether that's LinkedIn or through Handshake, whatever that might be. So feel free to share those if you guys have your contact information free. And then do we have any other questions from the students? Fabulous. Well, I would love to thank all of our panelists for everything today. This was fabulous advice. I enjoyed it. I learned some things, and I could relate back to some things as well from my job searches and my career as well. So I just want to thank you guys all for that insight. It was absolutely wonderful.
Thank you so much for having us. Should we put our contact information in the Zoom chat here, or do we just give it to you guys and you guys want to blast it out to your list of students attended? What's best?
Whatever you're comfortable with. If you'd like to put it in the chat, you can do that.
Okay, perfect.
I just wanted to say thanks so much again to all of our panelists who participated today. We really appreciate your insight and all of the knowledge that you've shared with our students, and look forward to continuing to work with you all. I will put in a quick plug too, that many of the employers who are participating today will be attending the WVU Career and Internship Fair virtually next week on Thursday. So make sure that if you are interested in potential opportunities, that you're logging into Handshake, checking out those schedules, and getting signed up for time slots to be able to chat with them further.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
Could I ask one more quick question?
Yes.
So has like your internships been like what's it called? Is there a scarcity of internships over the summer because of COVID-19, or has that impacted it at all for like offerings?
I would say it really depends on the industry. A lot of different industries were impacted in a different way. Sherwin-Williams, we're an essential business because we help protect the integrity of homes. So we never really fully closed. We just transitioned to do like curbside pickup. So I think all the industries were, affected in different ways. So you pretty much have to kind of do your research on that to kind of see, with that.
All right, thank you.